the staples for the path, and they reached near Medina, and here they saw a person approaching them, and finally they realized it's the seventh Imam with one of his ashab. And here they deliver that, and they say that, O Imam, as our staples are not sufficient enough, and it is required that in order that we reach back Kufa, we need to, reload our tiffins, and also as we are close to Medina now, we want to go visit the Imam, the Prophet, and give salutations, do the ziyarat of the Prophet. Here Imam asked him to show the staples that they had. And here Imam looked at it and said, it will be sufficient for you. And they say, how about the ziyarat? They say, I was with the Prophet as I did my Fajr, now I'll be doing my Zohr and Asr. I will send his salutation, and you have seen me. And here the hadith ends. On this, Shaykh Abbas Allah Majlisi comments saying that a person who reaches near Medina, and from there if he gives salutations to the Prophet, that is sufficient enough. That will be considered as the ziyarat for that person. However, Shaykh Abbas adds on to that, saying that it is not the case. If we remember the hadith of the sixth Imam, which comes from Abu Hanifa, which I will mention that later, he says that no, as these two young lads have seen the grandson of the Prophet, which is Musa ibn Ja'far, that itself is like the ziyarat of the Prophet. And in relation to one of the miracles of the Imam is that when Imam said that this is sufficient enough, although it was little, it was sufficient enough for them. So the hadith which the Shaykh Abbas al-Qumi bases his comment upon is the hadith of the sixth Imam. It says that once Abu Hanifa enters the room of the sixth Imam, and he sees the sixth Imam having an asa in his hand and walking. And he says that, how come you're so young and you still hold the asa? Then here Imam says that, well, tabarrukan, as is the asa of the Prophet, I'm just holding it. So Abu Hanifa says that, why don't you allow me to kiss the asa? And then Imam removes his sleeves and he says, you'd rather kiss my hand rather than kissing the asa. Because this bush, this meat, is from the Prophet. The blood is from the Prophet. The hair is from the Prophet. Rather keep kissing that asa, which have, no value as such compared to what he has in front of him. So this shows the vision of certain scholars. He was apparently known to be one of the renowned scholars of the time, where now he's regarded as one of the major figures of the school of thought of Hanafiyun, right? So, what is seen in them, it is really unfolded amongst those people. That sight, that vision. As they say that everything Allah has placed in the Imam al-Mubin. Allah has placed everything in that Imam. And Allah will raise them on the Day of Judgment with their Imam. So the vision of the Imam is very important to the vision, to the people. The people will be summoned with their Imam on the Day of Judgment. The level of the people is in accordance to the level of the Imam. Rather the Imam, because he will stand in the front, and those people will be much lower than the level of the Imam. So alhamdulillah, when we, in our maktab, in our belief, our Imams are the very, lahmuka min lahmi wa damuka min dami, right? Yu'limuni ma yu'limuhu. Our Imams, wa yahzununi ma yahzunuhu, are on that level of the Prophet. They are on the level of the Prophet. So we as the follower of the Imam will be on that level, inshallah. Sallallahu Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Nevertheless, it very much requires that it is indeed a slogan that we are the followers of them, but it requires a lot of action. an action which is in accordance to what they have preached, to what they have taught, in accordance to the knowledge that they have provided us. Another incident in relation to show the maqam of the Imam compared to the maqam of the prophets. After the demise of the Prophet, indeed it was very much required by the Islamic Ummah to completely understand the ahkam of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Imagine this now. This is the Khalifa during the time of the 7th Imam. Apparently his name was Mahdi. And here, we tend to find, his name was Muhammad Ma'ruf. He was Muhammad, but he was Ma'ruf, he was well known as Mahdi. He was one of the, Imam lived during his lifetime under the 4 Khulafa. So, what does this mean? There were 4 Khulafa during that Imamat of the Imam. This shows that this is really the downfall of the Umayyun. It is really the downfall and the beginning of the Abbasiyun have taken place. So it is indication of that still it is not stable as such, because politically speaking. So when that happens, obviously there is a greater amount of pressure, upon the Imam, as we have seen during the lifetime of the 7th Imam. He was in prison most of his life. This was the political pressure that occurred at that time. Anyways, so not to get into the historical analysis. So he was Ma'ruf al-Mahdi. Now he says that, when he visits the ziyarat of the Prophet in Medina and the Imam was there as well, after that, he says that where in the Quran sharab is haram, alcohol is haram. The Khalifa of Muslimin. And this is how far? We are talking about 7th Imam now. So, you could say that, there's a he is the Khalifa of Muslims, and he's saying that, where does it really say as such, that alcohol is really haram, drinking wine or, mashrubat is haram, khamr is haram. Then here, look at the isbat, look at how Imam proves it. Here Imam utilizes the verse of the Quran which clearly points out to, which points out to that قُلْ إِنَّمَا حَرَّمَ رَبِيَّ الْفَوَاحِشَ مَا ظَهَرَ مِنْهَا وَمَا بَطَنَ وَالْإِثْمَ. Imam says this ithm, which really means a corruption. And he says وَإِثْمَ وَبَغْيَ بِغَيْرِ الْحَقِّ. He says this ithm, this is something which Allah says, إِنَّمَا حَرَّمَ. He has made it haram, corruption. Now, but one would say that, well, it's corruption, it's not. Then Imam says that, يَسْأَلُونَكَ عَنِ الْخَمْرِ. They ask the Prophet about khamr. They question him, what about alcohol? وَالْمَيْسَرِ قُلْ فِيهِمَا إِثْمٌ كَبِيرٌ. So ithm over there, and here the words that the Imam is using is that in it, in what? In khamr. In alcohol there is ithm. Not only just one ithm which was haram there, but ithmun kabir. It's greater than that. So therefore, this is the way, this really, then here onto this, Yahya replies, the Khalifa was there as well, and Ali ibn Yakhtin, he was there as well, who was the student of the Imam. He says that indeed, God, this is a fatwa Hashimi. This is a verdict which is really Hashimi, because he was from that clan of Hashimiyun. And here the Khalifa Mahdi, he frowns and he looks at it, and he looks at Yakhtin and he says, "Oh Rafidi, you're really speaking the truth. You're selling the truth." Is there any way that anyone could argue this? The proof is on the basis of the 2 verses of the Quran, very clearly. And no wonder this brings about, a person can have everything what he wants. He could be Khalifa of Muslimin. He could have castles and whatnot. But when it comes to that knowledge, when it comes to that, not just knowledge as such, that taqwa, that piety, that vision, one is paimal, one just surrenders, one is helpless. one finds that he doesn't have that. He is ashamed of himself.